Welcome to the Skip and Shannon Undisputed podcast. I'm Joy Taylor. You can catch us Monday through Friday at 9:30 a.m. Eastern, 6:30 Pacific on FS1. Here's what this podcast is all about. It's an unscripted, unfiltered, undisputed version of the day's show, and there is a lot to get into in today's podcast. Russell Westbrook drops a career high, but Skip tells you why he took a step back in the MVP race. Speaking of the NBA MVP, our man and Grammy Award winner Nelly checks in to break down his MVP choice, and he is still picking the man from OKC. Pro Football Hall of Famer Chris Carter gives his inside reaction to the news that Brandon Marshall will be heading to the New York Football Giants and what it might mean for Eli and OBJ. Plus, the debate is on after Cavs GM David Griffin says LeBron is not motivated by winning MVPs. Skip and Shannon have a lot to say about this. Skip and Shannon, let's debate. LeBron James has won 4 MVP awards in his career and is a leading contender again this season. But Cavs general manager David Griffin said yesterday that MVP awards aren't LeBron's motivation. Let's take a listen.
If he could win finals MVP, I think that would matter to him. I think he really cares about that because it comes with winning. I don't think he cares about the regular season MVP thing. I mean, sure, everybody wants to be considered the best player, but he already is. I mean, everybody knows he is.
Isn't it a weird dynamic?
When you played during Jordan's years, if you won MVP, Michael Jordan's the best player and everybody knows it. You just had the best season at a given time. So, again, LeBron transcends the game of basketball. He transcends awards, and I don't think he cares about any of that.
Shannon, do you agree?
To a certain extent. And obviously, he would rather win finals MVP as opposed to regular season MVP because that would give him another title. But I look at it like this, Skip. Of course, I would rather go to the Super Bowl and win it. Mm-hmm. But I wanted to go to the Pro Bowl, and I wanted to, be all pro because I wanted coaches and players and fans to confirm and validate what I knew, that I had a pretty good season, and I was deserving to be the tight end on the all-pro team or one of the 2 Pro Bowls for the AFC that go to the Pro Bowl. LeBron James is the de facto best player in the National Basketball League. We know that, Skip. There's no question about that. Even Skip Bayless in that diabolical, maniacal, twisted, now you're not deviant. In that little mind of yours, with that big, the brain, mm-hmm. You know LeBron is the best player. But we all want validation. We all want confirmation. And he also knows, in the article that he said this past summer, is that the ghost he's chasing has 5. He knows what 5 regular season MVPs. He's already in rare air. He and Wilt has 4. Russell and Jordan has 5. Kareem is the only one with 6. Mm-hmm. So he knows going to 5. That ties him with Jordan. And so he wants that confirmation. Is it the end-all, be-all? Does he fantasize about winning an MVP like a James Harden? Nope. Russell Westbrook? Nope. Maybe a Kawhi? Nope. Been there, done that 4 times. But it would give him validation. It would give him confirmation. Yes, I'm the best player. But also, the writers recognize I'm the best player. And for my efforts, they will have awarded me my 5th MVP. So, all that being said, he realized also there's not a whole lot of guys that's at his age that's won the MVP. Jordan and Malone won it at 35. Mm-hmm. Kareem won at 32. Malone also won one at 30. So it's about 5 guys that's won one at 32 or older. I think Steve Nash. So LeBron is getting on up there in age, and these young guns are coming. Because if you think about it, Skip, think about this. When Wilt had this 50-25 season in 1962, mm-hmm. He didn't win the MVP, neither did Oscar. Bill Russell won with 18 points, 23 rebounds. Mm-hmm. But that season, Elgin Baylor averaged 38 and 18. Bob Pettit was 31 and 18. Mm-hmm. Walt Bellamy was 31 and 19. Jerry Worth was 30 and 7. So even though you have a great season, you never know what somebody else, and all it takes. Now, Kawhi Leonard gets hot down the stretch. Let's just say they got 17, 18 games. He goes on a tear. Now, Golden State has been winning this number 1 team in the West all year. Mm-hmm. Somehow, the Spurs wrestled that away from them. People are going to look long and hard at what this young man did. So you never know. It's not the end-all, be-all for him. He would like the validation and the confirmation that goes along with being the best player, but he would rather have the finals MVP. But the regular season, I do think it means something, just not as much as it would mean to other guys that haven't won the award.
I do agree, obviously, that finals MVP would mean a whole lot more to LeBron James because it would mean he would have won another ring.
Repeat.
He only has 3.
Oh, yeah, look how you said it, Skip. See how you do that? Why would you do that? Wait, you get like this. This is what you do. He only has 3.
Yeah. I'm also going to give you this. I will defend LeBron James on this point. He's not a ball hog. He doesn't go out every night and try to win the MVP like the guy in Oklahoma City is trying to win the MVP. And I believe that. I said it from the start.
Yes.
He will go out and try to seize the MVP. Russell Westbrook will.
And prove he's better without KD
That is
than
correct.
he was with him.
Okay. So back to LeBron.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I don't believe that he doesn't really care about winning the regular season MVP because in the end, this is what I believe, it's going to be all he's going to have to defend himself or try to make his case that he's the greatest player ever because he's not going to be able to do it with a 3-4 finals record at age 32. And if anybody has watched closely, without the Ray Allen shot, the greatest clutch shot wait a second, let me finish. Without the Ray Allen shot, the greatest clutch shot I've ever seen, and without Draymond getting suspended and Bogut getting hurt for games 6 and 7, LeBron James could be 1-6 in the NBA Finals. And it's close. He easily could have been that. But he's 3-4. And yet, in the end, he's got 4 MVPs. And if he could at least tie Michael with 5, or who knows, beat him with 6-5, then all the LeBron apologists, starting with the number 1 apologist sitting across from me, could start to say, he had 6 MVPs and Michael only had 5, because in the end, that's all you're going to have to argue. I'm sorry. It's everything to his legacy to win at least 1 more MVP. If he got 5, then you could say he tied Michael with 5, even though I could make the case, I can show you 5 years where Michael should have won 5 more MVPs, and he was just too good to win MVP.
Yeah, and LeBron should have won the one that Derrick Rose.
You can make a case.
Can I ask you a question, though, Skip? Why don't you ever say, without Vinatieri 2 kicks, without Malcolm Butler's pick, Tom Brady could be 2 and whatever in the Super Bowl?
Okay,
you never make that argument.
Those aren't lucky plays. That's just the best kicker in pro football making a kick. It's just, and it got set up by Tom Brady's completions in both games. And it was shocking what he did in the first one.
And it got set up by LeBron James being down going into the fourth quarter, scoring 18 of their 30 points and assisting on another 4.
Okay, but everybody that I respect in pro basketball, starting with Chris Broussard, our analyst here on Undisputed, will quickly tell you that without Draymond getting suspended, Golden State's going to win the series. They're up 3-1. Nobody's ever won.
Skip, we never. I know.
3-1.
That's why he's great. That's why he's in the conversation. That's why if he gets another regular season MVP, he goes to the finals this year, makes it 4 for 4 with 4 MVP finals MVP.
Okay. Well, what if Ray Allen's shot had lipped out? What if it had lipped out?
Yeah.
What if it just went in and out? What would happen?
What if my parents had money? I don't know. I probably wouldn't have had the desire to leave, because if I'm not in poverty, I have no desire to leave poverty. So I don't like to do if. It's the smallest, biggest word in the English language. If.
Well, what if LeBron hadn't clanged the last second shot, the 3, and it hadn't been a long rebound that Chris Bosh tracked down?
Had he not scored 18, they would not even been in this situation.
Oh, okay. And if he hadn't turned it over 3 times in the last 3 minutes of Game 6, they would have won easily.
And if he hadn't had those 3 threes in the fourth quarter, you do realize he had a triple-double.
I just remember the 3 turnovers and the miss to tie the game.
Do you remember Kawhi Leonard missing that free throw? Do you remember Manu Ginobili missing 2 free throws?
I do.
Okay. Because I know you got a great memory. That's one thing about those Skip Bayless.
Up 5 with 23 seconds left.
Up 5?
Woo!
And they choked it off.
They choked it off. You got it.
Gagged it off.
Yeah.
And guess what, Skip?
But the guy who was trying to out-gag the gaggers was LeBron James. Another turn. What are you doing, LeBron?
Don't worry about it.
He just kept saying here, and here.
Because I want to make it look even more improbable. Because when I come back and snatch this victory from the jaws of defeat, but you know, what y'all did, y'all snatched defeat right from victory. Y'all had to Skip. Oh, Skip was celebrating. My son.
I will never get over that.
Skip, my son was
I wish you could have seen me when Ray's shot went in. I'm on the floor. I'm like on the floor. Like, no.
My son down there in the basement, he's screaming. I said, boy, stop all that noise. Police gonna come. He said, Daddy, that ain't me screaming, that's you. I said, ow! Ah! Charles killed me. I tickled me, Joe.
I know, every time this comes up, it reminds me that you were once a Heat fan.
No, you confusing the two.
Hey, I didn't think of it that way.
You know?
But you were.
You were once a Heat fan.
Wherever LeBron goes, I'm with LeBron.
But every time we talk about Cleveland, it's we.
Yeah.
So at one point, there was a we Heat.
When I say we,
So
I use the term
Those
loosely.
were good days. That's when you were authentic.
I use the term we loosely.
Yeah.
I say we as a we, me, Bron.
Yeah.
Me, Bron. We're a package deal. If you sign LeBron James, you also know Shannon Sharpe comes along with him.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what David Griffin's talking about, but I think we all agree that LeBron does care a little bit about
You're a hater.
MVP.
He does not care.
Of course he is. He's the best player in the world. He's competitive.
And
Of course he cares about winning
tell
MVP.
Pat Riley to keep LeBron James' name out of his mouth.
Pat Riley can say whatever,
he cannot.
whatever it is he likes.
No mercy.
Welcome back. We're joined now by Grammy winner in front of the show, Nelly.
Hey.
Whoa!
Good to see
Yeah,
you.
we go.
Thank you, big dog.
Now we're
Y'all make it
official.
high.
Here we go.
Nelly's blinging today.
Get out of here. I know you ain't talking.
Yeah.
You gotta pull that down.
Keep that down. Let's go.
All right,
Let's talk
we like
sports.
Let's talk some NBA. Russell Westbrook had a career high 58 points last night, but the Thunder lost to the Blazers at home. Westbrook was 21 of 39 from the field, but missed a potential game-tying three-pointer with 11 seconds left in the loss. Oddsmakers have Westbrook second to James Harden in the MVP race right now. Kawhi Leonard is third, and LeBron James is fourth. Just fourth
LeBron
place.
James.
We gonna move
Place.
up.
Nelly, who's your MVP right now?
Still Westbrook.
Good for you.
Still Westbrook. I feel like out of all four of those people, he's working with the least. I definitely feel like that. I definitely feel like he's working with the least. And-
Taking the most.
Well, I mean, to me, they expected that. I think that was the game plan going in at the beginning of the season. They took the leash off and they said, "Yo, you know, it's your reign. You all we got.
Right.
So we're gonna ride this ship out and we're gonna go as far as you taking us." And I think he's done a great job. I mean, considering what he has, everybody else has great shooters around him to a certain degree. I would say more so. LeBron has great shooters around him, and you know Harden has pretty good shooters around him. Kawhi got a bunch of good shooters, but who is Westbrook's shooters? When he drives the lane and they collapse, who is he kicking it out to?
I thought it was going to be Doug McDermott, but he's come up zeros.
Yeah.
But that's not the way they're built. They're built with those bigs. And that's why it made no sense for me to go get Taj Gibson. You get Taj Gibson, you have Sabonis, you have Steven Adams. Unless you're playing inside out, it really doesn't make any sense for you to add more bigs when you got a penetrator and he can't kick to anyone that can shoot.
That's the problem.
But for me, I got James Harden first, I got Kawhi second, I got LeBron third, I got Russ fourth.
Fourth?
Fourth.
You sound like Mark Cuban.
Fourth.
At least
Here's
you have
the
a
thing.
fourth.
You got a triple-double fourth.
Here's the thing.
That is amazing.
He's taken 341 more shots than the second-place guy. He's not in the top 100 in field goal percentage. James Harden, team last year, was 41-41. This year, they already proved they're 44-20. He's 29, 8, and 11. And a lot of people thought that James Harden was a left-handed Russell Westbrook because all he did was stop the ball. Right. But he's proven that not only can he still score, he's getting 29 a night, but he can also distribute the basketball and get everybody else involved. He's leading the NBA in assists. So with that and what Kawhi's done over the last month, you got to bring him up.
Well, I would put Kawhi a little bit ahead only because he plays both sides of the ball. I mean, you're looking at somebody potentially defensive player of the year, as well as you know,
probably gonna win
this
he's
team.
probably gonna win it again.
I mean, how can you do that when a guy's the offensive best side and he's on the defensive best side of his whole team? I mean, that kind of throws him. That kind of throws him up. But it's just hard for me to get away from that triple double. That's all I'm saying. It's just like we've only seen how many people average a triple double in life? One person.
And he didn't win it.
So
Wilt averaged 50 and 25.
And that was totally disrespectful. Totally disrespectful.
In those days, there were about 20 more possessions a game.
Yep.
So you get a lot more chances to stack up stats.
Right.
Stuff
Points, rebounds, and assists.
every way. So I'm still on Russell Westbrook. I told this man to start the show. I'm trying to be objective about it.
Yeah.
I thought he took a small step back last night because he scored a career high 58 points. But he failed to tack on the exclamation point because he had 4 pretty open looks in the last minute and 23 of the game, and he missed all 4 of them. Yeah. And it deflated me. I mean, he was on a tear in that game. They're down 9 when he comes back in with 8 minutes left in the game. He did his usual rest at the top of the fourth quarter.
Yep.
They're down 9. He goes on a 17-8 run in which he scores 13 and has 1 other assist. So that's 15 out of 17 points are his points. Right. And they come all the way back to tie the game. And then he has 4 straight 2 free throw line jump shots and 2 threes that are either going to tie or win the game or give you the lead in the game. And he missed all 4 of them. Well, it's basketball. You know this. I mean, sometimes the ball just don't go in. I don't know why.
Like Doc Rivers says, so make a
miss. Okay, so he missed all 4 of his clutch shots. These are game-tying winning shots, game-changing shots.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, he took a small step back because he couldn't provide the exclamation point to 58 points. But in the end, Kawhi is closing some ground pretty quickly because he's been on a late tear, and you conveniently left out what happened Monday night in San Antonio because in the fourth quarter, head-to-head with James Harden, when he took James Harden for the first time in the game, he said, I want him for the whole fourth quarter. He pushed Danny Green aside, said, I'm taking him. And he outscored him 17-4 in the fourth quarter, and he took over the game in ways that he is highly capable on both ends of the floor.
Sides of the floor.
So he's making a push. So I've got him second.
Over the last month, he's been spectacular. But you look at this. In the last 10 years, only once other time has a player shot the ball 30 more times than the next closest on his own team. That was Kobe in his farewell. He shot the ball 40 more times than the next closest. So we get that.
Right.
But when he shot the ball 39 times, the other 11 guys combined had 46 attempts. How do you expect to win? Who are you making better?
Okay, but Shannon, wait a second.
Who is better? I mean, a lot of
I
these
don't
people,
know if he won't pass him the ball.
He's passing them the ball. Nobody else is getting shots.
No.
Nobody else is getting shots.
Shannon, were they in position to win the basketball game, down 9 early in the fourth quarter, and all of a sudden, the guy who I think is winning the MVP race has the ball in his hands with open looks 4 times in the last minute and
I think he's
23.
exerting himself, though, too. I think, look, he put a lot of effort into that game, that last game. And
every
down the stretch, I know he does every game, but that game in particular, it looked like he was, 100 miles per hour. So by the time he got down there, it did look like he lost a little bit in them legs and whatever.
Whoa!
What's that?
Y'all making excuses for this
I'm not
guy.
making excuses.
Hold on. No, not you. Somebody's talking about Russell Westbrook might have been gassed when he'll never make that concession for the King of Akron.
Who that?
Skip
I said that.
No, Skip Bayless said it earlier.
Oh.
Which game are we talking about?
You talking about maybe he didn't have the stamina, maybe he had taken some zap out of his leg.
Yeah, but
This
he
is those last
ain't
4 shots.
got a Kyrie to kick out to, nor
Okay, but which LeBron game am I supposed to defend him over? Which one?
Big one.
Okay, I'll
Get
pick
outta
one.
here, man.
The classic LeBron game. The turning point of his career.
I'm gonna take my earpiece
You
out.
ready?
Go ahead.
You should put it in. So
Go ahead. I don't want to hear this. I'm gonna take my earpiece out.
What happened 2 years ago in the finals when LeBron James, even though he had lost Kevin Love before the finals started, he lost Kyrie in overtime of game 1. What happened? They won game 2, and then they went home and won game 3. LeBron James, the king, the best player on the planet, has game 4 in his house.
Right.
His house to go up 3-1, which would be an insurmountable lead, maybe you could say. And what happened? He came up really small in game 4. And you can say he didn't have enough help, but he's the best player on the planet. And all I heard the next day was he ran out of gas. He's the best conditioned athlete on the planet. That's what I always hear.
It happens.
So, yeah. Hey,
It happens, but I don't see it as a detriment to what he's been doing. I just see it as he ran out of gas that time. It happens. I've run out of gas on stages before. Not every stage, but in some stages I have. I've been up in Denver performing, and it didn't got so bad up there, you know, it's like you...
Then what did you do?
Just let the crowd sing.
30, think about it. He said the man ran out of gas. The man over 6 games averaged 35, 13, and 9.
Right. I'm not taking anything away from LeBron. I love LeBron. I love Kawhi. I love James Harden. I just think that triple-double is just hard for me to get over. And I look at the people that he's playing with, and it's kind of like, come on, man. Like, nobody else is making shots. Even if he does listen, he's averaging a triple-double, so somebody else making some baskets. He's not getting those assists from himself.
Hold on.
He's not assisting himself.
Let me ask you a question. So which player is Matthew Dellavedova better than on OKC? Because that's what LeBron had in the finals. You want Steven Adams or do you want
Wait, no, you talking about point guards. Do I want Steven Adams or do I want Mozgov?
Yeah.
Did he have Tristan?
I want Steven Adams.
You want Dellavedova or you want Oladipo?
I might take Delly. I might take Delly to play point, but only because he's shown he can run the team.
Do you want
see what I'm
Tristan
saying?
Thompson or Steven Adams?
I want double T.
I want
Definitely do.
I like Oladipo. I just think, injuries has been plaguing him, so he's not the same Oladipo.
Do you want Shumpert? They can play.
But the thing was, Matthew Dellavedova and Mozgov was the two best players in that finals next to LeBron. Shump and Swish didn't show up in that finals.
Yeah, but you're talking about something different. This man is fighting in the West with a winning record in the West, and you're talking about Dellavedova running your team
Nelly,
through the East.
Nelly, this is where they are in the 7th seed.
That's a good seed in the West.
They might not hold that.
That's a good seed in the West.
What happens when they go to 8?
How many games they over 500?
I think 5.
Okay.
They're one game behind Memphis.
Yeah, and what happened last night? They gave up 126 points to Portland in Oklahoma City. And it was the first night, and I watch every Russell Westbrook game because it's must-see to me.
Right.
But it was the first night I saw his teammates, I'm not going to say quit on him, they just looked disinterested, especially on the defensive end. I don't know if they're getting tired of watching him go solo, or they just feel like they're set decoration. I don't know. But nobody wanted to defend a Portland team that shot 55%. If you're going to give him, like every shot was like a horse shot, wide open, 12-foot jump shot, good.
Right.
55%, you're going to lose.
He hogging the mic, Nelly. What you going to do if somebody hogging the mic?
Okay, so you're telling me if they wind up in the 6, Houston winds up in the 3. That's the matchup. You taking Houston?
Yeah, you too. You taking Houston also. Westbrook be hogging the mic. Nelly, somebody hogging the mic.
How can you hog the mic when the mic is made for you? That's like saying when AI had the mic. He's hogging the mic. He's not hogging the mic. The mic was made for me. The mic was granted to me at the start of the season. Yo, it's your mic.
See?
Say no more.
So you know what? I'm about to find me a new band. I'm going to find somebody to let me sing some too.
Well, then you ain't. Well, then you left this team a long time ago. But everybody on that team knows who Michael Jackson is.
I want to spit
the
some
Jackson
bars.
5. Everybody on that Jackson 5, they know who Michael is.
I got bars
This
in me
is
too.
Michael.
I got bars in me
Okay,
too.
Randy Jackson,
No,
you go do your
How
own
did
thing then.
He trying to treat me like,
Randy, go do your own thing. This is Michael's show,
he treat
cuz.
me like Tito.
This is Michael.
No mercy. We have breaking news. Brandon Marshall and the Giants have reportedly agreed on a 2-year, $12 million deal. The deal can't be finalized until midnight when the new league year starts. Marshall was released by the Jets last week. We're joined now by Chris Carter. Good morning, Chris. Welcome.
Good morning.
What's your reaction?
It's a good fit for Brandon. I think at this point in Brandon's career, there's a few things that he has to keep in proper perspective. One is Brandon is just now getting on top of his overall mental health. And to me and his family, I know that's probably the most important thing. Also, the stance that he's taken, the public awareness, the campaign, things that he's established and created himself that have gotten a lot of people help. I know that's one of the priorities in his life. So stability, lack of movement, he can stay in the same location. Having a young superstar on the other side, it would benefit Odell Beckham because Odell's getting double teamed all the time. But the mental part of the game that tends to get in Odell's way sometime and get in the way of his talent, Brandon understands that because Brandon played a lot the same way.
Went through the exact same things.
He's been through going to other teams. And if Odell, if he wants to get that contract extension, this is a big year coming up for him. You know you're going to throw the ball to him over 100 times. If you look at Shepard last year, Shepard's not an outside guy. You know, could be a good pro receiver, but he's more of an inside guy.
Yep.
Victor Cruz is not an outside guy. That's why they had to move on from him and by his foolishness going on that boat with Odell. That got him out of New York. So as far as Brandon Marshall, his mental health, a team that he fits into, the mentality of the head coach, I think Brandon fits in because I think Brandon will bring some leadership. And I knew going to New England was a smokescreen. The reason why? He got problems with Marty Bennett, got beef with him, and let's not forget Josh McDaniels, what happened when he was in Denver. So I didn't think he was going to New England, but the rumor got out there. So I think this is the best fit for B at this time. He doesn't have to move. He can stay in New York. His mental health and all the awareness that he's created, he can continue on that path, and he can keep working on a promising broadcasting career that's going to be a lot longer than these last few years. And he can get into the playoffs for the first time in his career.
And that's what I tell guys. I say, you get too old to play football. You don't get too old to talk. And this was very...
God knows you know that.
this was,
My grandpapa told me this.
this was always...
I heard that.
This was always important. I never for 1 second thought Brandon Marshall was going to New England. Because, first of all, it would totally take him out of his routine. having that gig that he goes to on every Tuesday, that's important to him. That wasn't going to fly with Coach Belichick. Being as outspoken, being able to say when you think something's wrong with your offense or your team, being able to voice that to the reporters, that wasn't going to fly. This is an ideal situation, CC, and I agree with you. He doesn't have to move. He gets to stay in New York. He's becoming a bigger and bigger personality in New York. Victor Cruz, last year they had a bunch of guys basically that played the exact same position. Odell Beckham was really the only guy that could play outside the numbers. Yeah. And so now, but when you want to move him around, you put Odell in the slot, you're putting two guys outside the numbers that really have, they're out of water. Yeah, they can make a few plays, but that's not where they can be most effective. Brandon Marshall is a true outside, he can play inside because he's a very good receiver, but he's a true outside the number receiver. So now you have more opportunity to move Odell around without upsetting your offense because these other two guys really couldn't play outside the numbers. And I agree, the mental approach that he'll be able to say, Odell, look, I've been down this road that you're going on, and it's not going to end well for you because no matter how much talent you have, eventually they'll get tired of your antics and they'll move on without you. Because take it from me, I once caught 21 balls in a season, and they shipped me out after the season was over. I've caught 100 balls in 3-4 different locations, and this is my 4th or 15th. So he has firsthand intimate knowledge of what will transpire with Odell if he doesn't change his way, because we've seen a lot of talented receivers. We've been discussing one over the last month about Hall of Fame. Talented. And sometimes production and tolerance, as long as production is up here, tolerance is up here. But the moment production starts to get here, guess where tolerance got to go? You and tolerance are going out the building. So I think this is a very good move for Brandon. I never thought he was going to New England, and hopefully he gets an opportunity to get to and win a playoff game.
As a Dallas Cowboy fan, I must admit, this is really a good move for Brandon Marshall because it's a great fit for Brandon Marshall. In fact, the more I think about it, the better it gets for Brandon. And I like him a lot, and you know him better than I do, and I know him pretty well. And I'm proud of all that he has overcome off the field because it's a lot, man.
Ooh.
It's
a,
it's an ugly lot that he overcame.
You don't even want to hear the truth.
No. But now, as you point out, he doesn't even have to move residence. He can stay right where he was, wherever he's living near Florham Park, where the Jets train, because it's about 20 minutes to East Rutherford, where the Giants train in New Jersey. Right. And he can go Showtime off the field, and they can be Showtime on the field too, because this has got some Showtime potential. They did go 11-5 last year. And just idealistically, I like the concept of Brandon sacrificing to go to New England to win a ring. But you do have a shot here.
Yes.
Eli is like the ageless wonder, and even though he still has that capability of leading the league in interceptions, which he's done 3 times, he was pretty good last year. And he was really good in the first half at Green Bay, and his receivers didn't back him up because I think they left their game down on a yacht.
Really good against Dallas in both games, too, man.
He was really good in both games, and he beat my Cowboys twice, and they think they have the Cowboys number, and who knows, maybe they do. We'll find out soon enough. But the point is that he gives Eli a bigger target because Eli has never trusted those tight ends they have on that roster. And Brandon's not a tight end, but he's a bigger possession receiver.
Yes.
He's his new Plexico.
He is. He's that bigger guy. In fact, he's even stronger because Brandon has natural strength.
Oh, he's big dude. He legitimate 6'4", 230.
And he takes care of himself.
Yeah, he does. He does. He works hard at it. He was. So my point is, I think they're going to be really good. They could be even better than they were last year. So way to go, Brandon Marshall.
Everybody, go ahead.
I think that there's going to be 4 or 5 episodes. We saw last year with Odell. He came off the field. He's upset visibly, taking his helmet off, doing things on the sideline. But when you have a veteran player, because that's one of the things that upset us last season. We were like, where are all the veteran players on the sideline? I mean, he walked past the whole team, walked past the coach and everyone. You won't be able to walk past Brandon Marshall because right or wrong, he will say something. And he understands the wide receiver temperament. He understands the personality. And I believe that it can be a tremendous blessing for Odell Beckham because as he gets ready for a breakout season, he's been over in Europe. I talked to him the last week. And he's looking forward to the Giants with the 2017 version of New York Giants.
Yeah, good.
Everybody talks about going and winning a ring. The one thing that I talked to Ozzie Newsome, and especially Ozzie, I rolled back on the plane with Mr. Modell. I said, look, guys, I'm not saying I need to be an 85, 80 catch guy like I was in Denver, but I didn't come here to catch 30 balls either. I said, I want to participate. Now, it's easy to say, and you see guys, you see Chris Long is a prime example. He won a ring. He went to the playoff for the very first time. He said, but I'm not me. I can't do this. So now you're asking Brandon Marshall. Here's the guy that's caught 100 balls at 3 different locations, caught 21 balls in one season, and you expect him to go from catching maybe, 10 balls in a game to maybe catching 2 or 3? That's harder than people would ever imagine. CC, you know it. Once you get used to playing a certain way and catching a certain number of balls, man.
Yeah, but listen, I'm going to tell you something. As much as I wanted to, man, when they brought Randy Moss in there, I knew eventually this dude going to take over the show. And Odell Beckham, Brandon's going, he wouldn't sign there if he wasn't ready for this.
Yeah, to make that kind of sacrifice.
He is the perfect tandem to be opposite of Odell.
No, I'm saying the Giants situation is entirely different in New England now.
And they throw the ball a bunch.
Yeah.
So he's going to get the ball. I mean, if you get the ball 4 times a game, you're at 65, 70 catches a game. I mean, what else do you need at this stage?
And by the way, $12 million for 2 years is not a whole lot of money. So the Giants got a pretty good deal.
Because you want to get a contract that you can get the money. I mean, no need to sign a 2-year deal and you on lease
2 years,
for 9 months.
2 years for $40 million. But guess what, Skip? He don't have to go get another apartment someplace else.
No.
He got one resident. He can pay the mortgage there. He doesn't have to move his family anywhere. So this is an ideal situation because he gets to stay in his comfort zone.
He does. And in the end, Odell really doesn't love being the go-to interview for that team. He doesn't love it. He's always a little uncomfortable because it's always about Odell. Brandon will take over this locker room as the go-to interview for the New York media.
Take a little heat off of him, for sure.
He will.
His deal will be finalized at midnight when the new league year starts.
No mercy.
Tim Tebow is expected to make his Mets debut in a little over an hour in a spring training game against the Red Sox. Tebow will start at DH and bat 8th. He's going up against reigning Cy Young winner Rick Porcello. Joined once again by Nelly and Rob Parker. A little baseball today.
Robbie, look at Mr. Slim. Look at check him out.
Rob, we'll start with you. Should Tebow be playing today with the Major League club?
Yeah, it's okay that he plays, but I got to say this. If there's an Illuminati club, Tebow belongs to it. Because this is a setup, Shannon. You know why?
You hit a home run off.
This is shut up. I'm telling you right here is what they got him set up by him facing the reigning Cy Young from the American League. If he does poorly, everybody says, but they say he's facing Rick Porcello, who's a Cy Young. Right. But if he gets one and hits a home run or something, you will not hear the end of it. And don't put it past Rick Porcello, who might groove him one just to see.
What?
Well, yes.
Wait a second.
Nelly, you know this.
Wait, did you just suggest that Rick Porcello is going to say, here's a cookie?
Here's a cookie.
So you just took the bat out of Tim Tebow's hands. If anything he does good, you just took it out.
No, I'm just saying.
You just took it out.
I wouldn't be surprised, Nelly, if they just say, you know what, let's see if he gets one, belt high, let's see what he can do with it. Here you go. It happens in
But you have so little respect for
you
Tebow
know
as a baseball player that if he does groove one to him, you just say Tebow would swing and miss it, right?
Do you know Porcello? You seen him? I think he wants to strike him out. I think it's more that he doesn't hit
Porcello.
Yeah, then he does. Then he groove him one. I think Porcello's getting up there like, if I don't strike this guy out, but
you don't want to be.
This guy was throwing a football 2 years ago.
Yeah, let's be real. You don't want to be the major league pitcher
that gives up a home run to Tim Tebow.
But the difference is, and you know this. Yes, will he be ragged in the clubhouse by his teammates? Sure. But if they know he grooved one, do you know what I mean? Compared to really trying to get him out. If I'm Rick Porcello, I just threw him a fastball right down the middle to see what this guy can do.
Don't nobody want to hear that.
And have him knock it out.
Don't nobody want to hear that.
Go ahead, Skip. I'm going to let you go ahead.
What if he hits it 500 feet like we saw him hit BP pitches 500 feet?
He's not going to hit it 500 feet.
He's got serious
Not a game
power.
fastball right down the middle.
Okay, look, a lot of minor leaguers have serious power, but trust me, Tebow's got big league power. We saw him hit balls over the scoreboard at USC. He's got power. Again, it's BP.
Joy, put your hand down.
Look, let's saw it. We were there.
Okay, I've told you from the start, I give Tebow a shot to make the big leagues, even though it's a long, long shot.
Yeah,
but I don't love this and I don't understand this unless they're just going pure publicity stunt. What are you thinking? What are you doing? Tim Tebow has not played baseball for 12 years since he was a junior in high school when he was pretty good. He was probably draftable if he'd played his senior year of baseball, but chose to commit full on to football. Fine. So now he wants to see if he can figure this out. And I've told you, I want to see him at AA for a whole summer, maybe even high A ball for a whole summer of at-bats. I don't even know how many you'd get, 400 at-bats, and see if he can relearn the game of baseball. But here, you're with even though it's a split squad, so you're not going to face the Red Sox, all their position starters. But still, it's the reigning Cy Young winner who went 22-4 last year with a 3.15. This is insane. And again, what are you going to prove today? Unless the Mets are seeing something that I don't know about. Maybe they're saying he's ready for this. But
that's what I was going to say. Maybe they know something you don't know. You know what I'm saying? They're down there every day, and this could be a good thing for the Mets in the sense of let's get it out the way. And let's get it out the way.
But I agree with that.
Let's see what we got. Let's just get it out the way.
This
What's
sounds
the
like
worst
Denver
thing that
in
happen?
football. Let's just get it over with.
Skip keep on talking about the man has a shot. The only shot he's gonna get is a flu
In the
shot or
ass.
tetanus.
Oh.
Those are the only shots he's gonna get. Skip, you know that. I know that.
He might hit some shots.
Skip,
Yeah.
first of all,
But Skip, you know how hard it is to make the major leagues, and a 12-year absence. I'm not saying that he can't hit some balls in BP and get a couple of knocks or break a broken bat or whatever, or even lay into one. But making the major leagues from this level of not playing for 12 years, I just don't.
I just think he's too. I think he's too muscle bound, Skip. I mean, looking at him run.
Y'all
I
finding
just think
excuses.
No.
Finding excuses. He's too muscle bound.
He's
Wait a minute.
not. How about this here? He's not good enough.
We don't know that yet. How do you
not
know?
good enough.
How do you know that?
We're gonna find out.
There
I
it is. That's my point. My point is we're gonna find out.
Okay.
I think this is the point. The point is, for the Mets, you know what? We got all this. What's the worst that can happen? What's the really, like you said, what's the worst that can happen?
Strikes out 2 or 3 times, and you say to yourself, well, what did you expect? We put him in against the
Exactly.
reigning
Exactly.
AL
Okay,
Cy Young.
You got to give him this, though. He threw himself into that fall league fire against kids who are one step from the big leagues, a lot of AA, AAA pitchers. In his last 11 games, he played 19, but in his last 11, you got to give him this. He went 9 for 32, which is a 281 average, which you would say not bad.
It's okay, right? It's good.
He walked 8 times, so that made his on base through 11 games, which is a pretty good sample size against pretty good arms. That's a 425 on base. And you would say, that's pretty great, right? That's good enough. We showed you something.
Skip, what do you expect? What do you expect to see Tebow do against Porcello today? What do you expect?
I'm going to think he might get embarrassed. That's what I might think.
Do you think
I don't even think he needs to hit. I just think he needs to hit it hard. I just think he needs to show that he can make contact, and he's making strong, consistent contact.
I go in the back cage and make contact.
No, it's just different in baseball. Football player, it's different.
What you think he is?
It's different. No, but he can hit a baseball. But what I'm saying is, if he lays good wood on this ball, it don't even have to be a hit. He just has to see it and have some good swings. If he has some good cuts.
That's what major league players do. They lay good wood on the ball.
Exactly.
That's why they're called major league baseball players.
Exactly. So if he does that, he's showing that, okay, I may not have had it to drop, I may not have found the gap, or I may not have did this, but I'm showing him, I'm seeing it good.
Nelly, what do you expect? You expect him to strike out, or you
It's
expect
a difference between going 0-3 with strikeouts and 0-3 with lineouts.
Okay,
and
I'll
hitting
give
it
you that.
and hitting it to
But what do you
hitting
expect,
it sharp
though?
and hitting
What
that.
do you
I don't know.
What's the difference between losing by 1 and losing by 15?
In baseball?
No, in any sport.
Well, in
You
baseball,
lost.
baseball, your pitching is terrible. You know what I'm saying?
so-
You're giving up
so,
15.
you keep giving me all
I feel you, but you acting like it's his job to win the game. It's not his job to win the game. It's his job to show he can compete at this level. That's all he has to show.
He's been given.
That's all he has to show is he can compete at this level.
I know he can run hard. I know he can run and
But he's
hustle.
been given a great opportunity. And
I'm not saying that he's going to do anything, y'all. Don't get this twisted. I'm not saying that he's going to go out here and go 4 for 4.
Throwing him onto Front Street.
He's on Front
Exactly.
Street. I mean, to put him in this game, he's starting DH, batting eighth against Porcello.
Now, that's what I don't like, the
Right.
DH. He's
Well,
not
right
going to
there,
DH. He's not going to DH in the majors.
might.
I would rather see him
Not
in the
the National
field.
League.
Not in the National
Right.
League. But I'm
But
saying
I would rather see him in the field.
Path. It might be.
I would rather see him in the field and show his hustle. To me, I would probably think Tim Tebow's defense would be more likely to get him in because of his hustle, because of his arm
He's
strength.
going to have to be able to hit. I
No,
agree
yeah,
with that.
he
He's gonna
is.
have
But
to
how
be
many
able to hit.
MLBs that we saw get through the majors Bayless with just a little bit of offense, great defense, strong
I
arms.
don't know if he can be great. I think he can be a serviceable left fielder or maybe a first baseman.
They don't normally guys that play a professional sport,
can go right
they
field.
don't take a 12-year sabbatical. No matter the sport. Forget baseball, doesn't matter. Normal people that wants to play a professional sport, they don't take a 12-year
We're not talking about
sabbatical.
normal people, Shannon. We're talking about Tim.
He is a person.
here we
Stop,
go.
Joy. You see this is what make me do.
Talking
Joy,
about
you
Tim.
Michael Jordan tried.
Tebow.
Wait a second. Do you realize my man?
get off the stage. Get off. You talking about
Michael Jordan tried?
Wait a second.
What you mean?
My man Nelly is the first man in the history of this show that I've done for 13 years who helped me defend Tim Tebow. First.
There
It's
you
the
go.
first ever.
Hey.
I've always been on the island by myself.
Oh, look
and
at
this
this.
man-
Did you see
First
that?
man, but not first one.
For this one, until he
I
starts
got
going
it.
nuts on me. You know my man to go nuts on me, so I got.
Don't worry about it.
everything that you said is
You were
true,
doing it from
Nelly.
your heart.
No, because I believe he deserves a shot. I believe what does he have to lose? I'm saying.
Well, I want to try for the Yankees.
All right, go do it.
I
Go
think you
do
should.
I
it.
deserve a shot.
Go do it.
We support you, Shannon.
I'll make it happen.
First of all, I got to see you in a celebrity softball game before you can go out here. I don't even know if you can hit a ball.
I've seen you go yard.
That's right, and you better know it. And you better know it. Put your
I've
money
seen
up.
it. I've seen you go yard.
Any celebrity want to challenge me in any sport, I'm ready. It don't matter. Now, you, on the other hand, can't hit a softball as far as I can hit a golf ball. So
Whoa!
Who can?
Whoa!
What person you know can hit a baseball 300 yards?
I can.
You can't hit no baseball no 300 yards.
Well, quit playing.
A baseball 300 yards? That's 900 feet.
I'm talking about 300 feet.
This man's got
Okay.
some
Oh, my
talent.
God.
No, he
Okay, I'll let that go.
We played a celebrity football game together. He won the championship for us.
He know what's better than that. Hey, let me tell you something, Cat Daddy.
Hey,
This is the deal over here.
Dan Marino said, "Who want the ball?" I said, "Nelly, go get it."
Right.
There it is.
That was
Nelly
it.
one-on-one, Nick Lachey, 50
Oh,
yards. He
Nick
laid out.
Lachey.
What you
hope
mean?
you
Did
can-
you
I'm
snap his
covering
ankle?
another entertainer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dan Marino was throwing it. It wasn't supposed to go to me. I picked
And?
it. I
Oh,
picked
you
Dan
picked
Marino.
him. You picked
I
him.
picked Dan Marino.
Westbrook had a career-high 58 points last night, but the Thunder lost to the Blazers at home. Westbrook was 21 of 39 from the field, but missed a potential game-tying three-point with 11 seconds left in the loss. Skip, how impressed were you with Westbrook last night?
Joy,
Tell the
Shannon.
truth, Skip Bayless.
I'm about to tell the whole truth and nothing but. I was extremely impressed, and I was extremely disappointed. Russell Westbrook scored 58 points and 4 straight times failed to put an exclamation point on what could have been an epic night. And I have been tough on LeBron James for playing great until the last 2 minutes of games, and I'm going to be tough on Russell Westbrook right now because he scored a career-high 58, and he took a small step back, in my view, in the MVP race that a week ago I had him running away with after an epic night against the Utah Jazz in that same building. So let's examine what happened. Russell Westbrook sat out for the first 3.5 minutes of the fourth quarter, came back in with his team 9 points down, and he led Oklahoma City on a 17-8 run that featured 13 points by Russell Westbrook, including an assist by Russell Westbrook, to tie the game with 1:48 remaining. And at that point, Russell Westbrook went colder than an Oklahoma City ice storm. And I know Oklahoma City ice storms because I grew up through lots of them in that city. Over the final 1 minute and 23 seconds of this highly winnable game, Russell Westbrook, if we could see these shots, missed an open free throw line jumper to take the lead. Then he missed another open free throw line jumper to tie the game. Then he missed what I thought was a pretty open three-point look to take the lead in the game. And finally, a not quite so open, but still makeable by Russell's standards, three-pointer to tie the game. 4 jump shots, all makeable, and Oklahoma City lost the game by 5 points. And instead of an exclamation point at the end of the night, I was left with one big question mark, as in, what the heck did I just see? Did Russell Westbrook just run out of mental and physical gas at the end of a career-high 58-point night? Was he just trying to overcome an Oklahoma City team that for the first time all season looked like it was disinterested and deadheaded and did not want to play defense at all. I'm just speculating here. Was something going on internally with that basketball team last night? Because I watch every game, and I could not recognize that team, especially on the defensive end. And by the way, Russell took a little shot after the game saying that we put ourselves in that position because we weren't playing, we weren't defending at a high enough level, okay? They weren't, and I don't know why. Are they getting sick and tired of Russell's solo act? They might be. It gets a little hard to watch because it's a whole lot of dribbling and a whole lot of shooting by Russell Westbrook. But this was a career night. But for some reason, his teammates just stood and watched the whole night. His usage rate in this game was 58%. I know a lot of people don't follow usage rate, but that is extraordinarily high for a single game because Russell is leading the league at 42.5 a night. The ball's in his hands 42.5% of the time. That's going to shatter Kobe's all-time usage rate record of 38.7. So he's already on a record pace, and this shattered the record pace, 58%.
Yes.
So did he just sort of tune out his teammates to the point that they tuned out on Russell? I don't know. That's what it looked like to me because Portland winds up shooting 55% for the night, 55.3. Well, if you're going to give up that at home, you're going to lose. If you give up 126 at home, you're going to lose. Yep. So I don't know. He couldn't overcome in the end the lack of defense by his teammates.
Skip, I'm not impressed at all. I'm really not. He shot the ball 39 times. The other 11 guys combined shot at 46.
Okay. Did he make them?
Hold on. Wait a second. This is only the second time in the past 10 years that a player has shot the ball 30 more times than the next closest. The other previous time, Kobe Bryant, he shot 40 more in his farewell tour. Skip, this is getting old. I really don't know how good the Oklahoma City players are because he won't pass them the ball to see. And remember in Utah?
Now that's not fair.
Hold on, Skip. Hold on. I'll let you talk for.
All right. Like 40 seconds, but go ahead. It was my
Let me
record.
talk.
I had a record opening soliloquy of 40 seconds, and now I'm done.
Skip, you mentioned, you referenced it, what happened when they played Utah. And down the stretch, he was spectacular. And he went into that mode again. And I asked, I said, well, Skip, why didn't they trap him and get the ball out of his hands to make him do something else? And you know what? Portland said, we're not going to trap you. We want the ball in your hands because we already know you're not even looking for anybody else. Skip, he attempted 7 of the final 8 shots for the OKC Thunder. How do you expect to win? He only made 2 of those. Skip is getting old. It's getting where I don't even want to watch the game because I already know he's going to jack the ball up 25 times a game. He's shooting like 24.8 a game. We already know what's going to happen. And then you wonder why the other guys, are they disinterested? You think. Because all I'm supposed to do is just stand over here in the corner. If you get tired or all of a sudden you get, you don't have the matchup that you like, you're going to kick it to me with 8 seconds in the shot clock and expect me to do something. Of course I'm getting tired of it, Skip, because all you expect me to do is set screens for you, rebound the ball when you're not fighting me for it, and pass it to you. Skip, this is ridiculous. Think about this, Skip. He took 15 shots in the fourth quarter. LeBron James has had 13 games this year when he hasn't attempted 15 shots in the entire game. And in those games, they're 11-2. Russell is shooting 42.2 from the floor. That would be the 3rd lowest field goal percentage ever by an MVP. Allen Iverson and Bob Cousy, well, back then, Skip, they were just jacking.
But there aren't many little guys who win MVP, and they're having to take long shots because they're little guys. Remember.
Skip, he's taking ill-advised shots. Okay, yeah, sometimes, Skip, look, he's not going to be a post-up guy. He's not going to be able to have a high percentage, say like a Anthony Davis or a big guy that can play with his back. But Skip, he's coming down. He's not even looking to pass the ball. Now, Victor Oladipo hit a 3, I think, had him down by 1. Then after that, Russell's like, man, you trying to steal my shine. I'm finna get these points here because I want everybody to talk about me, Skip. Let me tell you what's going to happen, Skip. Unless they draft a bona fide player, you tell me how they're going to get somebody to go play with him. How is that going to happen?
Tell me when you're finished.
No, I'm going to tell you in a minute. LeBron can get people to come with him in Cleveland because he's very unselfish. Even James Harden now, with the way he's playing, he will be able to attract people. Steph Curry, obviously, because Kevin Durant, because they're unselfish. You tell me how and when, unless they draft somebody or trade for somebody. And guess what? When they trade for him, as soon as they can get up out of there, they're gone, Skip. Skip, you're not going to win like this. He took a big step back. He's not even in my top 3 now for MVP.
Okay, now you have backed me into the corner of now defending Russell Westbrook on a night I was not going to defend him, but you are completely out of bounds on about 4 points that you just made. Russell Westbrook made 21 of 39 shots. I will take that every night.
And you'll lose every
no,
night
you
with
will
that
not.
many attempts.
And by the way, he came back into the game, as I pointed out. You probably weren't listening very closely, but he came back into the game with his team down 9 and led them on a torrid run to tie the game. He had 4 great looks to win the game, and for whatever reason, maybe he just ran out of legs that night because he was expending energy in ways I have never seen a player expend that much energy in one basketball game.
He spends that same type of energy every night.
That's why I'm saying he does it every night, and maybe, or sometimes the ball just doesn't go in. It doesn't go in for LeBron James a whole lot of the time with 2 minutes or less left in the game.
Well, first of all, he's shooting 42%. So how many times does the ball go in the hoop?
What is 21 of 39? What's the percentage of that?
Well, 21 of 42 would be 50%.
Okay.
So he's somewhere around 54.
Thank you very much. Will you take that every night?
Yes.
I'll take it every night.
But he's shooting 42%.
But that includes 4 misses at the end, 4 straight jump shot misses on open looks. At least 3 out of 4 were really open looks. He usually makes at least 2 of those, and we're having a whole different conversation. We're talking about epic if he makes 1 of those shots. We're talking about all time. If he makes 1 shot down the stretch, he would have led another impossible comeback against a team that is suddenly, all those teams that are trying to make the playoffs in the West, they're all getting hot at the same time. They're all pretty good.
Except who? Whose team's not getting hot at the right time, Skip? OKC.
Yeah.
Lost 4 straight.
They played Portland to the buzzer on Friday night. I watched the whole thing. Then they had to go to Phoenix, and Phoenix has suddenly gotten hot.
Tell me what was the outcome of the game. Don't tell me how. But see, you keep talking about if he makes 2 of those, Skip.
Is Dallas hot now?
Hold on,
is Dallas hot? Yep.
Let me have this moment here.
Yeah.
Skip, the anomaly is he went 21 of 39. His field goal percentage of the year says he's 42%. So should we be surprised that he missed those final 2?
Yes, because he made them. Did you see the 2 Utah games? Did you see the 2 Boston games? Did you see one of the Clipper games? I can just keep going on, where he just took the game over in the last 2 minutes. He's been as clutch as anybody this side of Kawhi Leonard this year in the NBA.
42% from the floor. They've lost. And I keep telling
you. He's high degree of difficulty. He's taking longer shots. He's not a postman. He's not LeBron. He can't go inside and dunk half the time.
Well, how about, you got 3 guys. You got Taj Gibson, you got Sabonis, you got Steven Adams. How about give them a chance to post?
He had 9 assists. That's not all that bad. Most people would say 9 assists is a pretty good night. He's averaging 10 assists.
Yeah.
That's pretty great.
This is what I'm saying. When you shoot the ball 39 times, and the next closest guy is not in double figures, there's something wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with the offense. They scored 121. They gave up 126. You're going to lose at home if you give up 126. It's too many.
Let me ask you a question.
I mean, Portland's got open shot after. It's like they're playing horse. Nobody wanted to guard anybody. I just told you, Portland shot 55.3%. It's impossible.
If Russell Westbrook takes 39 shots, how many of those games you think he'll win?
Say it again.
If Russell Westbrook attempts 39 shots over, say, the next 17 games, how many will they win?
Well, I don't like it unless you're down by 9 when he comes back in the fourth quarter, and he had to take 15. Remember, he took 37 shots, but you said it. He had to take 15 in the fourth quarter because they were down by 9.
So he's only a guy. He's playing one. He's playing. Look, if I want to go see 101,
he did it. He got him back. He got him back to tie. That's pretty great. Are you going to give him any credit for that?
I'm not impressed. They lost. They took the L. They took the L.
He had 4 open looks to win the game or tie the game. Either way.
Okay, tell me what was the end result.
Okay, well, I can say this about LeBron James.
We're not talking about LeBron.
I can just say it.
We're not talking about LeBron.
I am, because this guy's in the category.
What category?
He's leading the MVP race over LeBron, who's fallen to like 4th.
What you want to bet he doesn't win the MVP?
If he averages a
I
triple-double,
don't
he's
care.
going to.
I
He
don't
is
care.
going to.
I don't care if
he's
he
going to.
You know what?
You think he's going to average a triple-double?
I don't care if he averaged
Who
40,
called that
50.
last summer? I think
You're about
I
to be
did.
wrong.
Huh?
Because he's falling off in the
You want to
rebound.
bet he won't average a triple-double?
No. I want to bet he doesn't win the MVP.
Well, we have to see where they finish in the standings. I like them.
I already told you where they're going to finish. I say they'll be in the 7th spot.
Well, they've missed some late games that they should have closed.
You keep telling me, see.
Okay, we still have a long ways to go.
Can
Let's
you
see
do me
what
a favor?
happens.
Can you do me a favor? I want you to do this moving forward. I want you to make as many excuses for the King as you do for Russell Westbrook. Can you do that for me?
I just opened by saying I'm always hard. Didn't I say that to start off with? I'm always hard on LeBron in the last 2 minutes. I was just hard on Russell.
Okay.
4 times he could have won this game, and 4 times he failed.
When was the
it happens. They play 82 times.
When was the time someone backed you into a corner and you defended LeBron? Because he told me I backed him into a corner and he had to defend Russell. So when was the time you were backed in a corner and you defended LeBron James?
He's the greatest player on the planet. That's all I ever hear. Who should? I don't need to defend him because everybody else does. He's got more apologists than any superstar in the history of sports.
What does he apologize for?
Starting with you.
Why does he need to apologize for that greatness?
Apologize. Well, he
don't need to apologize for that.
Yeah, I can't wait.
He apologized to Savannah. He said, "Baby, I'm sorry."
Yeah.
He said, "I've been on this greatness train." He said, "People have been trying to derail me.
Yeah, what
They're
did he
trying
say?
to get me off these tracks, but I'm going straight ahead, full speed ahead."
He's on a journey. He says he's on a journey to be the greatest player ever. How? He's already lost that race.
Oh no, he didn't.
How?
No, he didn't.
Huh?
You keep trying to move the finish line, but keep on running, Bron.
3 and 4 in the final.
Pressing on, Bron.
Really?
You ever heard the song?
Wow.
You ever been to a black church? They got a song that said, "I'm pressing on, trying to reach my heavenly home. I got a few more tears."
Would you believe that many times when I was a child, I was the only white person in a black church? I was.
I do believe that, yes.
That's
What? First of all, I'm not surprised with you. I could imagine it'd be 5 black kids, and here comes Skip Bayless. That's you. That's Skip.
I was the only one.
You could get, because you know what, Skip? You have the personality. You can get along with a lot of people, but you also have the personality. You can get wrong with a lot of people. so
I just got wrong with you, so we're off to the races.
Well, they have lost 4 straight, and then they're back in action on Thursday against
Well, they're
going
going to lose 5 straight.
So that'll be
then we'll see what happens. Then
okay.
we'll see what happens.
I'm going to see what Kawhi Leonard do. Oh, come on, Russ. I've watched Russ hang
Also,
on.
now you're a fan.
Russ, put 40 on Kawhi for me.
No mercy. This is the Skip and Shannon Undisputed podcast, where we're delivering you an unscripted, unfiltered, undisputed version of the biggest topics of the day's show. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, like us on Facebook at Undisputed on FS1, follow on Twitter at Undisputed. You can find us on channel 219 on DirecTV, 150 on Dish. Tomorrow, Ice Cube will be here live in studio. We're here every morning at 9:30 a.m. Eastern on FS1.
Fox Sports 1 of 1.